Selecting an insurance provider for your business is a big decision.
We know how important your company is to the community.
Alford & Associates can manage your insurance. It's our job.
Alford & Associates, benefiting your employees and protecting your business.
Good evening and welcome to this week's special episode of Louisiana and Beyond.
And in this week's program, we're proud to revisit Martin's interview of a few weeks ago with Governor Jeff Landry at Nicholls State University's Coastal Center.
The occasion was a meeting of the Governor's Advisory Commission on Coastal Protection, Restoration, and Conservation.
And Martin was able to sit down not only with the governor, but also Colonel Scotty Otan from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, CPRA Chairman Gardy Dove, and the chair of the Governor's Coastal Advisory Commission, Tony Alford.
It is an episode you will not want to miss. Stay with us.
Louisiana and Beyond is brought to you in part by Edison Schwest Offshore, Bollinger Shipyards, Crosby Tugs LLC, Grand Isle Shipyard, Nicholls State University, and Sea Level Construction.
Edison Schwest Offshore is more than a fleet. We're an interconnected network of vessels, logistics hubs, and a fast-growing workforce of over 19,000 dedicated professionals across the globe. From the United States to Brazil and the Middle East to Southeast Asia, Schwest provides cutting-edge solutions to a worldwide community. And in the face of evolving demands across the industry, we are committed to operating as the best in the world.
When it comes to marine towing, Crosby Tugs has over 40 years of experience. We have the know-how to safely assist ships into and out of their berths, escort oil tankers quickly and safely, tow ships, respond to fuel spills, and work in extreme conditions. Founded in 1977 by Vinton and Kurt Crosby, we are one of the largest privately owned marine transportation businesses in the industry. If it's on the water, let Crosby be your transporter.
At GIS, putting people first has always been our thing. As we always say, our people are our most important assets. With over 20 office locations, we deliver innovative solutions across 4 key markets: energy, industrial, infrastructure, and power. Our 4 main service groups house over 20 service capabilities, supporting projects from start to finish. We're proud of our legacy and even more excited about what's ahead.
Welcome to Bollinger Shipyards. For nearly a century, our family of skilled shipbuilders has driven innovation and excellence, creating some of the world's most advanced vessels. Today, we are at the forefront of our industry and redefining the future of naval warfare. At Bollinger, we turn challenges into opportunities and careers into legacies. Here, you're part of something bigger. Any yard can build a ship. We don't just build ships. Together, we're building the future.
In a world where you can choose to be anything, who do you choose to be? At Nicholls State University, with over 70 distinct degree programs, we believe our students can be anything. Be an artist, a chef, a journalist, an educator, a lifesaver. But no matter what you choose to be a colonel. Be more at Nicholls State University.
And welcome back to Louisiana and Beyond. In this week's episode, we're revisiting Martin's recent interview with 4 of our state's top coastal leaders, including Governor Jeff Landry.
And we began the interview with why the fight for our coast is so important to the governor by taking a look at his background. Governor, let's start with you. Coastal protection. We've covered so many governors over the years, so many parish presidents. Never in the history have I seen as much activity as we have now. This is big in your agenda. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, certainly I take that as an extreme compliment. I mean, you got to remember, I grew up on the coast. That's number one. So certainly understand the issues, maybe better than other governors before. Of course, we've had some governors that have lived on the coast as well, but I've watched it. I've represented over 75% of the coast when I was in Congress. So again, was very close to understanding that coastal restoration and hurricane protection really should be the same word. It's an opportunity for us to rebuild our coast and to protect our communities along the coast. So it's passionate for me. And of course, I've watched Chairman Gordy Dove, when he was in the legislature, do everything he can to take as much money into Terrebonne Parish as he could for coastal restoration projects. But seriously, I've watched the folks in Lafourche and Terrebonne especially put their money where their mouth is. In raising the revenue earlier on, I think in the 90s is when y'all first started, and really taking the responsibility for that. And so for that, I feel that that creates a great template for what we should be doing across the coast, and making sure that every time we engage in coastal restoration, there should be a hurricane protection component to it as well.
Yeah, I've noticed you put people together that they're not yes people. I call them the bulldog and the pit bull all the time. Good to have a local colonel with ties around here also. But Gordy, what does it mean, the Grand Owl thing? How did that get done? The governor really did some great things there, and the colonel did too, but how did that all come together?
The governor, the colonel, the governor got the assistant secretary of the Army to come to Grand Isle and get him on board so we could expedite putting the last remaining 3 miles of segmented breakwater rocks off of Grand Isle, which they've been fighting with for a decade, trying to get those final. And as you know, when Ida came through, the worst damage in Grand Isle was where there was no rocks. If you go in Grand Isle where the rocks are to this day, those camps were fine. And the levees held up better. So that, I want to thank the governor and the colonel, were instrumental in getting the assistant secretary of the Army to come down here, and along with some generals also, General Peoples and a lot of Vicksburg came down, and they were able to expedite it, and we're looking at June 1st of putting rocks in place.
Well, and Martin, I would say this, that would not have been possible without the leadership of President Trump empowering people and picking people who are leaders, and then empowering them to empower people like Colonel Otan. Of course, as you said, it's great to have someone really and truly, it's like a blessing to have someone who is from this area to lead the New Orleans Corps of Engineers. This is someone who grew up in this area, who understands that his family was from here. And I explained that to the Secretary of the Army on our last visit, how important that is to have folks, certainly at the level of Colonel Otan, in these district offices who understand the historical concept of what we're dealing with. And the Grand Isle rock jetty was an example. I went up to Washington and spoke to him and said, look, just look at the amount of money that we've spent, that the Corps has had to spend every time a hurricane impacts Grand Isle. And when we looked at the amount of money historically that it's spent over the last 20 years or so, it was, to put the rock, was a quarter of what they had spent before. So it was a no-brainer. We got together, and we're going to get it done.
Yeah. Let me ask the colonel, you being from around this area, but then you meet this crew, the word passion comes to mind. You can feel the passion, can't you, when you come down here?
Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's no different than the passion that I grew up with, and what you learn growing up in this area, the importance of the commerce, of the energy, but also the ecosystem and the flood protection, right? And so we can't dismiss the importance of Grand Isle existing as Grand Isle and the protection that it provides to that entire basin, to Port Fourchon, to all of our critical infrastructure and the people that live there. I have lived all over the world. I've experienced interactions with multiple people around the world, around the United States. Mm-hmm. The pedigree of Louisiana's capability is truly phenomenal. And so we have the right understanding and experience. They have the local and state and national knowledge, and then they bring that passion. And I think that's really where we are in our integration. There's no daylight between what we want to accomplish, and then we just work through. There is a structure, there's a policy. It's just working together to get through that, right, in the fastest way possible.
And the passion of our governor for the coast, as well as the colonel and our two chairmen, is very obvious.
And we continue our conversation after the break by looking at some of the major coastal projects that are underway and some exciting statewide news the governor broke during our talk. Stay with us here on Louisiana and Beyond.
Sea Level Construction is a heavy civil contractor that provides turnkey services for the industrial and marine industries. From building large-scale infrastructure to installing the foundation for expansion projects, Sea Level and its family of companies offer a wide range of capabilities including driven piles, drilled deep foundations, structural fabrication, structural concrete, marine construction, barge maintenance and repair, site work development, heavy equipment repair services, and electrical services. Call Sea Level Construction to set the foundations for your next big project.
At GIS, putting people first has always been our thing. As we always say, our people are our most important assets. With over 20 office locations, we deliver innovative solutions across 4 key markets: energy, industrial, infrastructure, and power. Our 4 main service groups house over 20 service capabilities, supporting projects from start to finish. We're proud of our legacy and even more excited about what's ahead.
Welcome to Bollinger Shipyards. For nearly a century, our family of skilled shipbuilders has driven innovation and excellence, creating some of the world's most advanced vessels. Today, we are at the forefront of our industry and redefining the future of naval warfare. At Bollinger, we turn challenges into opportunities and careers into legacies. Here, you're part of something bigger. Any yard can build a ship. We don't just build ships. Together, we're building the future.
When it comes to marine towing, Crosby Tugs has over 40 years of experience. We have the know-how to safely assist ships into and out of their berths, escort oil tankers quickly and safely, tow ships, respond to fuel spills, and work in extreme conditions. Founded in 1977 by Vinton and Kurt Crosby, we are one of the largest privately owned marine transportation businesses in the industry. If it's on the water, let Crosby be your transporter.
Edison Schwest Offshore is more than a fleet. We're an interconnected network of vessels, logistics hubs, and a fast-growing workforce of over 19,000 dedicated professionals across the globe. From the United States to Brazil and the Middle East to Southeast Asia, Schwest provides cutting-edge solutions to a worldwide community. And in the face of evolving demands across the industry, we are committed to operating as the best in the world.
Welcome back to Louisiana and Beyond as we revisit Martin's recent talk with Governor Jeff Landry, Colonel Scotty Otant, Chairman Gordy Dove, and Chairman Tony Alford.
And we begin with Tony Alford, crediting their big coastal successes in Terrebonne Parish in recent years and how that model is now being expanded across all the coastal parishes of the state. Tony, as a levee board president, you've been through a few governors, but I got to be honest, from our vantage point, this governor's a little different. They all participated in some way, but projects now are over the top. And I know you want them even more over the top. So let me let you jump in here.
Right.
Yeah. I sort of opened the door for you.
Yeah. So, this governor has really been great to work for. He spent a lot of time in D.C. and helping us put a lot of things together. And so we've got great projects going on. And the projects now, Gordy and I have had to adjust from Terrebonne and Lafourche to the whole coast of Louisiana now. So we've got projects going on all the way from Mississippi all the way to Texas, on every front. Restoration projects. We have some minor diversion projects. We've got levees. Iberia project is a huge project. They've never had levees before. So it's been really great, and we're excited to have our hometown guy with the Corps come back, and I'm excited to really work with him and try to make some things happen and show what a real partnership is. And there's a lot of things coming together. That land bridge and those Barry Islands, impacting 460-something thousand acres of marsh, 94 miles long, 2,000 feet wide. We're going to build 28,000 acres building the land bridge itself before it even impacts anything. So in those Barry Islands that have been going away, we're going to be, this is one of the areas of the state that erodes faster than any place. Covers 5-6 parishes. And so we're really excited to have those projects going on, and the projects, of course, not forgetting about Morganza and the things that we have going on right now. So
let me come back to the governor. Let's talk about land bridges, because God, I was hearing about diversion for years and years and years, and finally it switched direction. To me, it's a great, great project, but land bridges are so important. This is going to be phenomenal when it's all set up, isn't it?
Well, first of all, I just want to say something. I've known Tony for over 20 years, and the passion that he shares today is still as great as the passion that he had back then. I don't think there is anyone really and truly, which is what I'm so proud of between him and Gordy, that have a passion for really understanding and caring for the coast, because they care about the people who live along the coast. And to that point, we and they have recognized that the answers to solving our coastal restoration problems, and in conjunction our hurricane protection system, take multiple components. We don't have one magic bullet. We can't just say, if we have this one shot, this will fix it all, which I think was happening. All of the eggs seem to be, were going to be placed into a massive diversion project that maybe would have built the land that they thought over the course of those 50 years. And no one was really looking what happened during those 50 years, and what happens if you were wrong, and what happens if the flood fight or the Mississippi river issues that we're dealing with today changed. And I think what they brought is adding multi-dimensions to that particular fight, and land bridges are a proven way. It's just like the breakwater rock that we're talking about. We're going to build land faster. We're going to do it in a way that works in partnership and conjunction with the Corps, using sediment from the river to be able to build that land quicker so that people can see that. And we're doing it without destroying the culture of the area. That's the thing that concerned me the most. When we looked at it and we saw $800 million worth of mitigation to pay people not to shrimp and not to fish oysters, I was like, when you pay people not to do something, they will never go back to doing that again. And that is a lost art.
But in order to get all the land bridges done, you're coming here today with some pretty big news.
Yeah, we got some real big news. Yeah. I mean, look, we have known that our legal environment in this state needed to be fixed. And Gordy can tell you the countless amount of debates that we've had in the legislature, either to dispose of legacy lawsuits that affected the oil and gas industry, or these coastal lawsuits that have been around since before I was Attorney General. What we're coming today to do is to announce that Conoco, we've reached an agreement with Conoco. That means we've now reached a resolution with Shell. We've reached a resolution with Apache. We're closing in on a resolution with Hillcorp, and we're putting the final touches to this Conoco settlement. That Conoco settlement is huge because it is going to give CIPRA hundreds of millions of dollars worth of servitudes in one signature. We're going to be able to be granted the servitudes needed to protect the coast and to move those coastal restoration and hurricane protection projects forward even faster. Not as fast as Tony would like it, but it's going to be fast.
Exciting news to be sure as we wrap up that portion of the interview, but there is more to come after the break.
Gordy Dove will further break down the dollars and cents of the ConocoPhillips settlement and how that will impact the state's new land bridge project. We'll be right back.
Edison Schwest Offshore is more than a fleet. We're an interconnected network of vessels, logistics hubs, and a fast-growing workforce of over 19,000 dedicated professionals across the globe. From the United States to Brazil and the Middle East to Southeast Asia, Schwest provides cutting-edge solutions to a worldwide community. And in the face of evolving demands across the industry, we are committed to operating as the best in the world.
At GIS, putting people first has always been our thing. As we always say, our people are our most important assets. With over 20 office locations, we deliver innovative solutions across 4 key markets: energy, industrial, infrastructure, and power. Our 4 main service groups house over 20 service capabilities, supporting projects from start to finish. We're proud of our legacy and even more excited about what's ahead.
Welcome to Bollinger Shipyards. For nearly a century, our family of skilled shipbuilders has driven innovation and excellence, creating some of the world's most advanced vessels. Today, we are at the forefront of our industry and redefining the future of naval warfare. At Bollinger, we turn challenges into opportunities and careers into legacies. Here, you're part of something bigger. Any yard can build a ship. We don't just build ships. Together, we're building the future.
When it comes to marine towing, Crosby Tugs has over 40 years of experience. We have the know-how to safely assist ships into and out of their berths, escort oil tankers quickly and safely, tow ships, respond to fuel spills, and work in extreme conditions. Founded in 1977 by Vinton and Kurt Crosby, we are one of the largest privately owned marine transportation businesses in the industry. If it's on the water, let Crosby be your transporter.
Sea Level Construction is a heavy civil contractor that provides turnkey services for the industrial and marine industries. From building large-scale infrastructure to installing the foundation for expansion projects, Sea Level and its family of companies offer a wide range of capabilities including driven piles, drill deep foundations, structural fabrication, structural concrete, marine construction, barge maintenance and repair, site work development, heavy equipment repair services, and electrical services. Call Sea Level Construction to set the foundations for your next big project.
In this week's episode, we look back at Martin's recent talk with the governor and our local, who are also statewide, coastal leaders.
And Chairman Gordon Dove breaks down the financials of the new Conoco settlement.
Martin, right now there's $480 million that when the governor finalizes this Conoco agreement, that's shovel ready. $480 million has been sitting, some of those projects over a decade, waiting on all this to be final. Then you have a $2 billion land bridge with 50% of the land on there is Conoco's. The other 35% is Apache, which the governor's already settled that out. So, I mean, he's really moving to get these lawsuits. And as you know, as a state rep, chairman of natural resources, and as parish president, I've been involved in all these issues. And to the thing we've got to do is get them settled so we can go back to drilling and production. And I think that's what the governor has been over backwards, and I'm real familiar with what he's been doing over the last few years, And I thank him for getting a lot of these issues behind us so we can go do our coastal restoration. And my hat's off to the governor, and this is huge with Conoco.
I've heard he's kind of like the President Trump. He doesn't sleep. I'd have to ask the First Lady to verify that, but he doesn't sleep. He's always moving around. Colonel, being from here, and you're hearing all this, you already had a knowledge of the coastline. Does it give you an advantage when you've gone back to everyone else and you're bringing all the requests back that you sort of get it? You know what's going on here?
I think it gave me a head start. Right? I know what a parish is. I can pronounce a Chafalaya, and so it allowed me maybe to make connections faster, right? And I think that's really what it is to get in there and understand who are the stakeholders, who are those impacted, how do we understand the main issue, and so. It gave me a head start, and then it also gave me a passion. Kind of my head, I've said before, is there's a voice that says, don't screw this up. And so the ability to really convey the why, to convey the need, and then ultimately to convey how we best align with the state master plan. We have federal only projects we're pursuing, but a lot of our projects are with non-fed sponsor of CPRA, DOTD. And so the ability to align with their strategy and their plan and better synchronizes our message up the chain of command as we do those, either the budget submission or the project submittal.
Governor, I want to make sure I get it in before we run out of time, but the FEMA and the flood insurance, which is on everybody's mind, all the land bridges, everything that's going on, it's got to be getting their attention. At one point, are we going to see it move?
I certainly hope so. The Attorney General continues her quest to litigate this issue before the federal courts. We've been begging Congress to fix this. It's something that absolutely needs to be fixed. I just got back from Washington with the help of the congressional delegation and released over almost $500 million worth of projects, FEMA projects, that were impacted from the hurricanes that occurred as late as 2020. So here we are 6 years later, and we're finally getting the money to be able to finish the restoration and impacts of those storms. Again, I think that what we're seeing is an administration that is truly interested in leadership and knocking the bureaucracy that has been built up like basically plaque in an artery that really was strangling us, and we're seeing these kind of projects done. Look, it's great. I am so excited, Martin. We have got more projects right now under construction, under design, and under engineering than ever in the history of SIPRA. I was asking Gordy that the other day, and I will tell you, it would only be possible because we are partnering, and we've got great leadership like Colonel Otan, like General Peoples. We had General Graham over for a visit the other day. We spent an entire day. We had the Secretary of the Army and Lieutenant General Graham, which is the head of the Corps, in the state of Louisiana for a complete full day. That's unprecedented. And I think that tells the people of this state and along the coast that we intend to honor those that came before us and built such a great place here on Louisiana's coast.
One of the first things Gordy told me when I interviewed him after y'all met for him to be the chair, he said the governor wants to make sure I don't just take care of Terrebonne Parish and LaFourche.
That's true.
yeah. So
I got a lot more constituents.
Yeah, I could.
It wasn't that nice.
Yeah, I could promise you.
And he told me 4 times.
He does think coastal now, but just to have that ball rolling now is positive for people who want to stay in Louisiana.
Absolutely, and it's going to, going back to the flood insurance, it's going to help drive down property insurance costs. Look, we're recognizing we're going to do more for our fortified roof program, which is one of the main ways that we can drive property insurance down. Look, the flood insurance issue is a congressional issue. That's something that they have to solve up there. We can continue to push, but we can do things here on the coast and around Louisiana that further drive our property insurance down and make things affordable. We did big insurance reform last year. We're seeing relief in the automotive insurance section. We've seen economic opportunity historically around the state. And again, I think that these projects become part and parcel to a great Louisiana.
And we thank the governor, the colonel, and our two chairmen for joining us for this important conversation about our coast.
And we certainly thank you for joining us as well, and hope to see you next week on Louisiana and Beyond.
Louisiana and Beyond has been brought to you in part by Edison Schwest Offshore, Bollinger Shipyards, Crosby Tugs LLC, Grand Isle Shipyard, Nicholls State University, and Sea Level Construction.